Hey, shalom, shalom. It's the brother Abayba from the DC Church. Coming at you, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah Bashim, Dash. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shah being whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Bashim in the name. Call meaning Spirit, Kodash meaning Holy. These are the names and the powers that are come to me in order to profess the 100% truth. The Lord's will serve the elect's faith. Shan Yikabag, I will love the cause of Kanye now, but many double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS in these times, whom the Heavenly Father had enlisted the 100% truth to, and Shalom, Mubarakim, Mabakar, Shah Shalom. Peace and blessings be upon the elect of the nation of Israel, and to the men out there that's pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. To you I say Shalom, Mubarakim, Mabakar. Peace and blessings be upon you. I'm making a quick video, Lord's will. I want to get, I have so much in me right now that I want to get out. So I'm just looking for, to, give me 1 second. I want to be able to get everything out, while the Spirit is hot on me. Give me 1 second. Yeah, because there's multiple topics I want to talk about, but the one topic that the Lord put on me today, and the Spirit that the Lord put on me today, is we have different worlds that we live in, right? So we have the spiritual world that we live in, and then we have the world of our family, and then we have the world between us and our woman, and then we have the carnal world, right? And sometimes these worlds collide. A lot of the times we keep these worlds separate from each other. And a lot of times these worlds can expand because of the events that are transpiring. So you may have some things that are going on in your personal life, which would be like the carnal physical world, which would be like the carnal physical world, in which, we have to tend to. We have to basically look out for, essentially. Nevertheless, something that I learned in this truth is that your decisions, all the decisions that you make and how things may impact you, should only matter if it affects the spiritual world that you're in, or the course of action that you're on pertaining to Yahweh Shema Shah. If it doesn't affect the ministry, if it doesn't affect your ability to do the things that you need to do, and for you to be able to produce content, because that's essentially what we're doing. We're putting content out. We're putting spiritual content out. If it doesn't affect that, then it should be able to conform to the life that you are living. Now, I'll give you an example. You may have certain opportunities at work where, you could potentially make more money on a different schedule. But the reasons why you don't want to work that schedule is because, if the reasons why you don't want to work that schedule, or why you don't want to transfer over, is because it could affect your carnal life and not your spiritual life, then that's not reasonable. Because now you're just missing opportunities in which the Heavenly Father has handed you, all because you don't want to compromise the carnal life that you're living and the comfortability that comes with that. In order for you to gain, you have to sacrifice. There's no other way. In order for you to gain, you have to sacrifice. And a lot of the times our flesh doesn't want to. We don't want to give up our Sundays or whichever day is our rest day. We can kick up our feet and do whatever the hell we want, But the fact of the matter is that, is it necessary? Yeah. And to make a long story short, every world that you're in outside of the spiritual world, and when I say your spiritual world, I mean that's the world in which, or the environment in which we produce righteousness. Okay, spiritual righteousness. And how do you produce spiritual righteousness? Or even physical righteousness? It's doing the work. All right? Every other world that you have outside of that conforms to that. No matter what. Because that world is the primary world that's going to tell you how to delegate and regulate all of the other worlds in which the Lord has us in. Because even on a physical basis, a spiritual. I see 444 again. I said 3666. Complete mercy from the wicked, man. From the complete wicked. Nevertheless, with all that being said, our spiritual world dictates everything else. And the example that I was going to give is that even in the spiritual world, it tells you to handle the physical things. Yahushua said, render to Caesar what Caesar's. So he's even telling you what to do when it pertains to your physical money. Which is in your is in the carnal world. Which is your finances, We can't live this aimless life. We have to have foundation and goals within the everyday life that we're living. And with that input, you also have to understand how to regulate your life and what path in which you're going on, and what encompasses the mission within you going and being on that path. And that's essentially what I was getting at. Everything is conformative to that. If it doesn't affect your ability to push the word, or it doesn't affect your attendance to have to be in certain places like camp, high holy days, so on and so forth, and the Lord is giving you that opportunity, I wouldn't abhor it. Because, there's a balance to everything. And a lot of times we do want things the way that we want it. We do want to, we want to go about things the way that our flesh tells us to go about things. And we always think about the contributing factors of, these other worlds that could be affected by decisions that you make. But you got to understand, all the things that are in the world, the other forms of the worlds that you're in, they conform to you. Shit, you start working an overnight schedule, your woman's just gonna have to fucking accept that. Well, I don't like that you ain't got free time now. So fucking what? They ain't like the fact that we go out there every Saturday. We're not available on Saturdays. So fucking what? Deal with it. And if you can't, find another one. For real. Like, for real. Scriptures say, Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And it talked about the things that all men, are cared for. What we shall eat, what we shall drink, what we shall wear, where we gonna rest our head. These are all things that we worry about. And as a man, you have to be able to provide these things to your family or your woman, if you do happen to have a woman. It's really our obligation, just as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do on their side. And the Lord told for us, he said, hey, don't worry about it. I got you. And with that being said, the only way that the Lord is going to have you, the main way, well, I say the only way, is if you're prioritizing him. Meaning that world that you're in, the one that I referenced earlier, that world, you know, you got to be very cautious, man. And you got to make that primary. That has to be primary in your life. You know, and you have to understand and know that for yourself. That is primary. Nothing comes before this, everything conforms to it. And as long as you prioritize the Heavenly Father, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter where you are, the Lord is always going to allow these other worlds to conform to that world, which is the spiritual world, okay? Which is being in the environment or being in the mindset of pushing the word of Yahweh Shema Shah, because that is our main course of action, okay? And the Lord knows the complications that come with the other worlds. Some brothers got kids, you know, some brothers are married. You know, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of things. Which those things are personal, you know, those things are personal. And no man needs to know that information or business. That's just between you, and that's in that world that you're in, that confined compartment, you know. But nevertheless, the point is making sure everything is conformative to the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah in your life. And if it's not conformative to it, that you're able to keep it abased, you know. Because I say this, you know, it's not the most genius idea to have your woman be conformative to the truth. And honestly, some of the shit that I've seen, like, bro, these wannabe Israelite women and these women that wrap up their hair, wear makeup on their face, and Khan and Shalawama, bro, like, bro, these be the most wickedest fucking women probably in the world. Like, it's almost this, it's like, when I know that a woman knows somewhat about the truth, it's just distasteful, man, because they try to abuse. It's like almost as if they use it as a means to do more wickedness, man. Khan and Shalawam and you know, the brother, the goddamn house, man. Yo, anyhow, the point that I was trying to make is that, you know, sometimes it's a smart investment to just keep that information and that intel to yourself, you know. And just because you don't tell your woman that everything that you're about doesn't necessarily mean that she's not conformative to that world, okay? And that world that I'm talking about is again, the environment and the spirit and the mindset that you're in that allows you to push the word and push righteousness at a high capacity. Now, nevertheless, just as long as she's obedient, that's all that matters. Just as long as she listens, that's all that matters. And you know, with women, you don't really have to complicate things. Women love to complicate things, but if you keep it simple, you can kiss. Keep it short, stupid. You know what I mean? Like, keep it simple. You don't gotta do too much. And that's something I'm learning. Like, bro, all you need to know is a layer. And that's why a lot of times, like, I just have my woman reach out to me. To the best. Hey, look, it works that way. And I'm not saying this works for every man, but at the end of the day, like, if you need something, you can reach me, you know? And if it ain't a fucking emergency and I'm with somebody else, hey, bro, you can wait. That's what you're gonna have to accept. And if you can't, then okay, I'll see you on the other side. You know, we're not in the space in the time frame where we can get caught up in our emotions about anything. You know, the only things that we are emotionally invested in and should be emotionally invested in is the truth, because this is the only thing that will not break your heart, that will not defy you, that will not shame you. You know, it'll purify you, it'll humiliate you, but none of that's heartbreaking. All of it is to better you. And when you understand that as a spiritual man, despite what this truth comes with, you're willing to accept it. Imagine you going through the same suffering that you go through in the truth for a woman, and she don't yield shit. The woman done had fucking how many men before you? Even if she was a virgin, I had a virgin before. That don't mean nothing. I'd rather have a woman who's dealt with men before and that fucking listens than a virgin who's just completely defiant. You know? Shit, I think the Most High said something along the lines of that too. He's like, I could have gave this blessing. I think it's in the book of Amos. I gave this blessing to the heathen, and they did better than y'all than fucking Israel did, you know? But the fact of the matter is, you know, like what I said at the beginning, and I'm gonna wrap this up too. You know, everything is conformative to the spiritual world, and because that's where everything started, and that's where everything will end. You know, and decisions that you make need to be based off of that. So with that, I give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shema, Kokedash, Shenya Kabag, all of the cops, cleaning up the Aith, Shalom, Barakum, the Bakan, Shah, until next time, I can say Shalom.